This episode of See Yourself In features Emil Ekiyor, founder and CEO of InnoPower. Emil's career started on the football field, yet today he's on a quest to help Indiana embrace the innovation economy and become a global leader in inclusion, entrepreneurship, and tech. Tune in to hear how Emil leveraged a life pivot to soar into a new purposeful career path. Emil, good morning. Thank you for joining us at See Yourself In.
Thank you for having me, Casey. This is awesome.
I'm really excited. I knew Emil outside of the podcast, so I know you are all in for a treat today, but we're going to dive right in and start. We're going to go back in time and start at the beginning. Share with our listeners when and how you arrived in Indiana.
So, I'm a big believer that people's experiences shape them. Everyone has a lived experience that's unique. And my lived experience is unique as well. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. Left my family when I was 15 to come to the U.S. to stay with the family and pursue education opportunities. So I came to Daytona Beach, Florida, was immersed in the black community in Daytona Beach. Ended up being exposed to sports, never played football, played soccer growing up. Got a scholarship to the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Played high school football 1 year and got a scholarship. Went to the UCF for 4 years, ended up getting into the NFL. I tell people I stole 6 years in the league. Retired. My wife is actually from Indianapolis, was born and raised. When I retired, we wanted to settle here. We had a son, and her family was here, so we wanted to come here. And so we packed up and moved here, and pretty much started from zero. I didn't know it. I knew two people, Tarek Glenn, who played with the Colts, and Marcus Pollard, who played with the Colts, were good friends. But moved here and just started from zero. And from the very beginning, what I ended up doing, I was still young, still had a lot of football in me. So I decided to jump into coaching. I was trying to transition from football to life, trying to figure out what do I want to do.
Sure.
Try to pursue something with purpose and something with meaning. So I jumped into coaching at Warren Central High School on the east side. And pretty much, I think one of the best decisions I've made in life, being immersed in the community, unbelievable talent in those schools, but still seeing a community that most people didn't believe that opportunity exists.
Yeah.
People worked so hard, and the poverty level on the far east side, we all know. But what we saw was just some amazing young people who were searching, looking for a way to make it, and just needed a blueprint, a roadmap on how to do it. So, interestingly, we won 3 state championships in Warren, ended up doing a lot there, and really gave me true purpose in life as far as what I wanted to pursue going forward, helping people find their purpose, helping develop talent, preparing people to compete for good paying jobs or starting a business. So my lived experience coming to the U.S., staying with the family, having people support me along the way.
Sure.
And then just growing in life, I wanted to do that to other people. I just felt one of the reasons I was successful was I just had great people in my life. And I think everybody needs that. Everybody needs a great person in their life, and wanting to be someone that was looked at as being great in other people's lives.
Yeah. I love that for so many reasons, but mostly because I can remember when Warren Central was in the state championship playing Hamilton Southeastern. That's where I graduated. They beat us, but that was okay. They did. Warren
I actually coached that game. I remember.
Warren has incredible football talent. I mean, has for many years. So I love that. Our stories connect there. And we didn't even know. But let's go back because you covered a lot in that first opening, if you will, and I think it's fascinating. You didn't just move to a new country. You moved to a new country. You started at a new school. It's at a time in your life where everyone around you is asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do with your life? So for people listening who are at that juncture now, take us back to when you went through it. Were you thinking about life after graduation and career trajectory and things like that?
Casey, that's such a great question. What I've learned as I look back at my life was the sports industry does probably one of the best jobs of the talent development progression. As a young person in America today, if you play basketball, if you play football, if you play baseball, you play volleyball, soccer, you know where to plug in. The process is defined. I have a lot of friends that their daughters play travel soccer, travel volleyball, and it's intense.
It is.
You plug in at a young age, you go through training, you play travel ball, you play school ball, and you get a chance to move up. Same thing in basketball, same thing in football. The difference in basketball and football, you move on to a professional level. And the whole thing is designed to take the talent, cultivate the talent, prepare the talent, and that industry has built in a built-in feeder pipeline that's predicated in some cases on getting the best talent from the poorest Black communities.
Yeah.
So when you look at that industry and how they always get talent, and on the back end of that is a multi-$100 billion industry that's created a pipeline of talent that every kid in every Black community you know about believes they can make it. So you know where to plug in, and then the process is set. So we look at it from, what if we took the sports industry and we did it in other industries, where you have energy in those communities where people really believe they can make it, where they understand where they plug in, where the development process is set, the criteria is set on how you make it. You see people that look like you that have been successful in it, so you know it can happen. So we take that same concept and say, how do we do that in technology? How do we do that in advanced manufacturing? How do we do that in the legal field or healthcare field? How do we get young people to see people who look like them? How do we create energy in those communities? And how do we define where you plug in and what the process looks like? I think that's one of the biggest opportunities we have in a growing city that's going to have so many opportunities for young people in the next 10 years. The industries are growing. Lots of investments are being made here in Indianapolis, around the state. And we just need to be more deliberate in how do we make sure that everybody gets a chance to participate, and we define the process.
Yeah. I think that is a perfect segue into talking about InnoPower and really your mission and what you're working to do there. So for those who aren't familiar, maybe introduce InnoPower. I know we have just finished up Rally and Indiana Minority Business Week, but tell us a little bit about all of these things that you're leading in the community.
So my lived experience shaped what we want to do with InnoPower, which is, how do we create opportunities in communities that we call it the hidden talent, right? A lot of this talented people in the schools and these communities need to participate in our innovation economy. So as a region, as a state, we become more competitive when everybody gets a chance to get in the game. The talent pool is increased, and we're just a better region when we do that. So how do we make sure we create those opportunities that people understand where opportunity lies and how to access that opportunity? So with InnoPower, we focus on, we're better in Indiana, we say. We're better in the innovation economy in this state. We feel like the next 10 years, there's going to be a lot of wealth created in this state around the innovation economy. When you look around and you say Eli Lilly's has made a multi-billion-dollar investment to build a facility on the outskirts of the city. IU Health is building a multi-billion facility right inside of the city.
Yeah.
Elevate Ventures just announced a growth fund that's $150 million. So much has been done, and so many investments have been made in the innovation economy. TechPoint announced Mission 41K. We have to create 41,000 net new tech jobs by 2030. So all of these things are happening, and we need to make sure while they're happening, while they're being designed, that everyone has a chance to participate, and we create the energy on the ground in those communities, and we create access. So InnoPower is the power of innovation. How do we create opportunities and solve problems in a different way? But how do we do it with a market approach around when we help people do better in life, when people make more money, things are better in a lot of cases. So how do we help people get better jobs? How do we get people start a business and grow a business? And what does that look like? What we saw was like there was no such playbook in a lot of communities for whatever reason. So the bad thing is there wasn't a playbook. The good thing is there wasn't a playbook.
Yeah, that's right.
So you get a chance to design that with people. And as you do it, you create energy on the ground with people. So our conference, we started 6 years ago with the Minority Business Week. And as we grew, we wanted to make sure we didn't create rooms where people were talking to each other, meaning we just had African Americans talking to African Americans, or we wanted to make sure we had a diverse room. We had diverse spaces where people could come together and talk about ideas on how they can work together, how they can grow together. So as we finished our 5th year last year, Christopher Day, the CEO of Elevate, a good friend, last year we were talking about partnering around Rally. So we finished our 5th year, they finished their 1st year, and we came back together and said, you know what, we have a huge opportunity to come together by creating spaces where you have diverse people, a diverse audience, where people are having respectable conversations about how we move forward together, where people are anxious to do business together, where color doesn't matter, race doesn't matter, nothing matters. It's just how do we work together, how do we do business together, and how do we build our city together. So this year, we partnered with Elevate Ventures around Raleigh. Unbelievable turnout, amazing atmosphere. Just the energy around it was just, we're so glad we did it. We just feel like we've created something very unique here in our state where people look at Indiana. Indiana becomes a destination. You want to come to Raleigh. You want to come to Indiana in the summer. You get a chance to meet investors. You get a chance to work with other companies. You get a chance to see how you do business in our state. So just completing it this year, going through it this summer, we're so glad we did it. The energy level was just off the hook.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to plenty more.
Yeah. What I think I love, there are lots of that I love, but one piece that really comes to the forefront for me is through my Indiana Minority Business Week at Raleigh, you're creating the physical space for connections. And they're connections that really, because everybody's in the room together, they supersede where people are working or physical geography, because this was an international conference that we've put together right here so people can relationship build from central Indiana.
Exactly. I think creating spaces where everyone doesn't look alike, doesn't think alike.
Yeah.
And deliberately creating that space always leads to great things. Mm-hmm. Because you end up meeting people that you just never thought you'd be sitting down talking to. And then either you learn something or you feel like, wow, I can really work with this person.
Yeah.
So when you deliberately create those spaces where you have the CEO for First Internet Bank talking to a young minority founder from Evansville.
Yeah.
When you have those kind of people, when you have investors in town from California talking to a local founder here in Indianapolis, when so many people come to your city and say, wow, we didn't know this was happening in Indianapolis. So just the environment that we deliberately created has led to so much success for our business owners, but really it's helped put the region on the map. Mm-hmm. For people who normally wouldn't think about doing business here. Well,
and let's pull the thread on that a little bit, because having the region on the map is important today, but we usually see the long-term importance of that a decade from now. So maybe talk a little bit just about why regional competitiveness is so important for Indiana's future.
It's very important, right? The way we project our region, the way we tell the story about our region, and doing it with an inclusive mindset attracts so many people. We had so many people from sub-Saharan Africa here. Indianapolis or Indiana is a big agriculture state, mm-hmm. Big on advanced manufacturing. And people want to learn. How do I learn from Purdue University? How do I learn from Indiana farmers and take it back to my country?
Sure.
Right? But if we didn't invite them, they wouldn't have just showed up, right? So creating the environment that shares our vision, which is one thing that we have to do a better job of telling our story, our vision for the kind of community we want to create. What I'm proud about is when you have things like Business Equity for Indy and other initiatives that were deliberately created to make sure everybody wins, right? When we share those stories, people can believe that locally we've done those things. Mm-hmm. So creating an environment that invites people into the space where they get to see how connected we are as a city. There's so much happening, but one of the things about this city is you're a phone call away, you're a coffee shop away from seeing somebody, meeting somebody, yep. And things just happen fast. So when people get a chance to witness that, they want to be part of that ecosystem. So we're very proud of just the environment of Raleigh and the success we had just in the second year, and for us as InnoPower, first year going through it. And really start thinking about planning for next year.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, and if anybody is hearing about Business for Equity for Indy the first time, go back and check out Kristen Lampkin's episode, because we had her on See Yourself In, and she shared all of the work that BEI is doing and really how our listeners can get plugged in. And I want to segue into that now for people listening that are thinking, gosh, these investments sound fantastic, and yet they seem so far away from where I'm sitting today. How can people start plugging into InnoPower and being more participatory in the things happening in Indiana?
Yes. So one of the things we do is we leverage the conference to do things year-round. Mm. So when we sit down in those rooms, and we had wonderful round tables during the conference where we just gathered people to talk about ideas and opportunities. Those things lead to follow-ups and next steps and gatherings. So what we try to do is help you as a professional build your social capital, connect you with people that you normally won't sit down with. But if we just did it one time, those relationships and that trust is not built. So we have events, follow-up events. We share the thoughts from the conference. Last year we did, or 2 years ago, we did the Indie Biz Pass in a community design challenge. And we came up with that. And now today we have a physical, a digital platform that idea came from the conference.
Oh, wow.
So when you gather good people, when you gather professionals and business people, and you create an environment where everyone respects everyone's comments and ideas, you come out with so much.
Yeah.
So we say we're great listeners, right? So we gather for a reason. We don't gather to gather and break. We gather to listen, to share ideas, to present challenges. But when we present those challenges, we don't want challenges in return. We want ideas on how we solve these challenges. What opportunities exist for us today?
Yeah.
So we take those ideas and we start doing things year-round. We gather people year-round. We have events year-round. So to us, the biggest thing in community, the biggest opportunity we have is how do we leverage our diverse talents? So many wonderful people in our city. How do we create an environment for them to come together? White, black, Latino, Asian. Share your ideas. We want to hear what you have to say, and your opinion is respected. Let's hear what you have to say. Here's the challenge we face as a city. How do we solve it? When you create a table where everyone comes in and everyone has an idea, they can bring their ideas to the table, and it's valued, you always live with great ideas. So the conference starts it, and then we just have follow-ups following. But we've built a network of friends. And for the last 6 years, this year included, we were just able to add to our network where people trust what we say because we value what they have to say.
Sure.
And we just keep building that trust and following.
I love this. You can hear when you listen. I mean, Emil, you're quite passionate about what you do. Where does that passion come from?
You know, the one I love, my sports experience really shapes so much of what I do in life today. And what I learned playing sports is, one is it's hard, right?
I can imagine.
Training, and when you play sports, every day is about getting better, right?
Yeah.
Everything you do every day, you wake up getting better because it's competitive. But the energy you bring to your work on a day-to-day basis, the energy you bring to your locker room around your teammates, the energy you show up with, really is key to how you make it, how you differentiate yourself as a professional. If you're a kid that's trying to get a scholarship to college, and the energy you bring, the way you approach your work daily differentiates you so you can get that scholarship to college. When you get to college, if you're trying to go to the pros, the energy you bring, the way you approach your work, the focus, the professionalism allows you to be able to compete to get a job in the NFL. And then when you get in the NFL, you got to stay there. So how you show up to work every day matters. So for us, we just really believe in the energy we bring to the daily work we do. If we don't love what we do, how are you going to follow us and listen to what we
That's
say,
right.
right? So we just want people to understand that one of the things that we truly, truly work on is it doesn't matter what ideas we have, what solutions we come up with. If the people most affected are not energized by the work, if they're not energized about opportunity and how they plug in and how they pursue opportunity, it really doesn't matter. Right? We have the best ideas, and sometimes we see that some of the best ideas, and because you have so many smart people. So I say when you meet on the 7th floor, you come up with ideas. It doesn't matter if the people on the ground floor are not energized about it.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So we just want to make sure that with everything we communicate with positive energy, we communicate with a great spirit about what we want to do, but we also communicate with the mindset that we want everybody. We respect what you have to say because you have a lived experience that I don't have.
Yeah.
So I want to listen to what you have to say, and most of the time you learn so much when you do that. So we want to create that environment, and we want to exhibit that on a daily basis.
I love this so much. We are running out of time today, but before we leave, it's really important that people listening can take this episode, can take your wisdom and really put it into action in their lives. So you shared a lot of wisdom already, but I'll ask you as our closeout, what are 3 things that have really stood out to you as lessons learned on your career journey that you think could help those listening who are just starting theirs today?
Yeah, one of the main things, life is hard, right? Life is hard, and things happen, and it's not really about what happens. It's how you deal with what happens. So having a purpose in life, what are you about? What do you stand for? Who are you as a person, right? If everything you do is just uber transactional, life is harder.
Yes, it is.
But when you have a purpose in life, when you wake up every morning energized about something special, a gift that you have, and it's bigger than yourself, the things you do. So you could work a 9 to 5, but then your 5 to 9 has to be about something that's bigger than you. When I plug into something like that, the energy I have for life is just so much better. So I tell young people, there's nothing wrong with pursuing a job or getting a check. You should. But what else are you a part of? When you sit down with me, if all we talk about is just the transactional stuff, then chances of us meeting again, we'll meet, but we won't meet as frequently.
That's right.
But when you are about something bigger than yourself, and I can see that you are willing to do that, then it makes our conversations, and most people I've seen, so much stronger. There's a connection point there that this person is able to be a part of something that's just not about them. So I try to find those qualities in people. I try to encourage people to do those things, right? Pursue your career vehemently. Go after it. But simultaneously pursue something that is not just about you. And when you could do that, you meet so many more people.
You do.
Life is more energized. So that's kind of what we kind of frame our day-to-day about is be about something that's bigger than yourself, do it with energy, and then do it with all people. Be careful that you're just not in spaces where you just people that look like you, that talk like you, that think like you. But be able to do what you do with everybody.
I love it. Emil, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're so glad that you were able to join us today to learn about Indiana's advanced industries and how you can start or enhance your career journey. Until next time, we hope that you'll be able to see yourself and the unlimited opportunities in Indiana.